Okay, so I will get us started. So I'm super excited. We have Heather Bruce tonight. So I heard of Heather from Rena because Rena sings Heather's praises constantly. So I'm going to actually let her introduce Heather. But Heather, you're just like this legend to me because of all the things Rena says about you. It's all, oh my gosh, Heather this and Heather that. And it's just really funny. So but Rena really wanted to introduce you tonight. So I'm going to let her share just a little bit about you before you get to take it away. Rena, you have to unmute yourself though, because I muted you and I knew you probably forgot that part.
You just like having that control.
I do.
So Heather, and it's kind of creepy. I don't know if I have even told Heather this story. So I just kind of followed her in circles. We kind of tend to run with the same groups, the same friends. And I always heard about this Heather Bruce girl. And I was always creeping on her Facebook page. Like she's the one, like, I'm gonna go see what she posted and see if she posted something good. Oh yeah, that's great. I'll steal that. And then we were in Mayakoba and this girl just comes kind of like bouncing around and then she walked away and I asked one of the people, I'm like, who's that? They're like, oh, that's Heather Bruce. I'm like, oh, that's Heather Bruce. Like the one with like where her background, because at the time your family picture was you, your husband, your 3 kids. It was very pastel and very colorful. And you came back and I'm like, you're Heather Bruce. I said, you're the one like you, and I'm surprised you still talk to me. And, but I have followed her for a really long time before she even knew I existed. And the thing, she truly is the one plexus spirit, truly, because I'm constantly like, Heather, what do you think about this? Heather, what about this? Heather, what about this? And then I'm like, and she is just so grateful and gracious. I should say she's so gracious. She's even let my team partner with some trainings that she's doing. And when I said, hey, Heather Bruce is going to, I took a screenshot of like what my team was. Oh my gosh, we love her. I'm learning so much from her. And I'm like, I know. So anyway, I sent that over to her today just to say, you truly have such a huge impact. And thank you. Thank you for genuinely taking the time to pour into my team, to pour into our team tonight, and time away from your family. We never take that lightly. So I will be quiet and I will let you do your thing.
She didn't say this rock star's also recruited 11 people this month so far.
Yes, she has recruited 11 people. And the simplicity and my people, I'll tell you what, like I just watch her and I'm like, oh, that's so good. Why didn't I think of that? She's just genuinely so, I don't know, it's a gift. You're the way that you take in information, relay information. I guess that's called teaching. I don't know, like is genuinely a gift. And I just want you to know that. And I appreciate everything that you do.
So no pressure.
No pressure. No pressure. Thank you. Those are very kind words. I love what I do. And so I just love to share what I do. Right. I have been with the company over 8 years now. I'm an Emerald ambassador, but it took me 7 years to get to Emerald status. And I jumped in right away with the business. I did not even take the products, long backstory on that, but I didn't even take the products for the first 12 weeks of me working the business. I like jumped right in. I didn't join for the business. I joined for the products. And I guess I kind of have to explain myself. So I was pregnant when I joined, but I was like almost to my due date. So I went ahead and ordered it so I'd have it so I could start it right after I had the baby. And then like, literally within 24 hours, I started having buyer's remorse because I was like, my husband's going to flip a lid if he knows I'm spending money on weight loss products and I'm pregnant. Like, of course you have weight to lose. You just had a baby. Like, what, are you insane? And so I was like, okay, how am I going to pay for these products? So I asked my upline, I was like, so what else do I need to do to like actually make money? She's like, just start sharing. I'm like, but what else do I need to buy? Like, what else do I need? And she's like, nothing. Like, you've already done it. You have an account. Cause I jumped in as wholesale. Of course, we all like the best, bang for our buck. So I was like, okay. So I just started sharing like day one, literally. And my first post had something to do with, and I had already like gotten an accountability partner basically with my mom because she wanted to lose weight too. And her like reset before and after, y'all, has kind of gone viral. You might have seen, she's like the 70-year-old woman that's lost weight. Anyway, she was my first like accountability partner. She was going to do this with me. In fact, the welcome pack went to her. because it came in and I was still pregnant. So I gave it to her to start, and it was Slim and Accelerator back then. That was the welcome pack she got. And she started taking it right away and started seeing results. So anyway, I decided I was sharing and I was getting people. I got my first person within a week, and my next two to go silver, literally the days I was in the hospital having a baby, I went silver. And I wasn't even trying. I had already shared the link with them, instructions how to order before I ever left for the hospital. And while I'm in the hospital, I get emails saying, congratulations, you went silver. Here's your $100 bonus kind of thing. And that was my light bulb moment that I was like, if I can do this in the hospital having a baby and I'm getting $100 bonus, maybe this is something I should kind of check out and do and, give it a valiant effort over the next 12 weeks while I'm on maternity leave. So that's what I did. I jumped in. I was like, I was going to nurse my baby. So I was like, while I'm nursing, I have 20 minutes while I'm nursing to be on my phone, learning all I can, watch as many videos as I can, read testimonies, and make social media posts. And that's what I did. Every time I was nursing, I was doing my Plexus business, right? I might have not been back at my real job, but I was working Plexus. And that's how I learned to do, because really my upline, love her, but she basically said, just post. That's the amount of training I got from my upline. Everything else I basically learned on my own through ambassadors that did YouTube videos and trainings, or recorded. I don't even know if Zoom was a thing back then, or recorded stuff. And I watched their trainings. I watched or read everything I could on our website, which was like 3 or 4 websites ago. Plexus has been through the growing pains of different websites, but I just learned all I could, because I really feel like the more competent I felt, the more confidence I would have in sharing. And so I wanted to be as competent as possible. So I would encourage you, if you're feeling like I don't have enough courage or confidence to post or to talk to people or to make phone calls, that's on you. Like, there's enough information out there. Go figure it out. Like, go learn more about the products, read testimonies, watch diamond documentaries if you need belief in the company and what you can do. Because honestly, now that I am a jewel and I have a little bit more like inner knowledge, I guess, of jewels, I'm like, we're all just regular Joes. Like, we just did the work, like there's nothing really special about any jewel that makes them a jewel. They just dug in and did the things. So that's what I did for 12 weeks. I actually made a decision. I'm not going to start the products until I've lost baby weight kind of on my own. And then, because I didn't want anybody to have any reason to say, well, of course you lost 30 pounds in 30 days. You just had a baby, like I wanted it to be the Plexus product. So I just worked the business, never even tried the pink drink or anything for 12 weeks. And then when I went back to work after my maternity leave was over, then I started on the products, and then I had my own testimony. But before that, I was just sharing what it was doing for my mom. By then I had family and friends buying and what it was doing for them. I borrowed testimonials from people. I just, my Plexus friend that I saw on the internet, and I copied and pasted their testimony and used it, like, look what my friend Kendall shared today, and we can always say our Plexus friend, right? Because we're all one Plexus. We're all Plexus friends. So you can call him your Plexus friend, no problem. So that's just kind of what I did. And then I advanced in the ranks pretty steadily, nothing crazy fast, but like within 2 years, I think it was, I don't have my timeline, but because it all just kind of like, I didn't even realize that was a big deal. In fact, my very first convention was that summer. I joined New Year's Eve. And by that June, I went to convention, and it was in Dallas, which I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So it was very convenient. I didn't have to fly or get a hotel or anything. I just went to convention. And I remember she wasn't my sponsor, but my sponsor's sponsor. She was like, oh, you're Heather Bruce. You're the one that always has 4,000 PV. I wish you were my level 1. Like, that was her comment to me. And I didn't even realize 4,000 PV was a big deal. Okay. Like, I just got customers. I just did what I thought I was supposed to be doing. I had no clue. By convention, I think I was gold. But I had no clue really, like, what was fast, what wasn't fast, what was good PV, wasn't bad PV. I'm telling you, I had basically not really any training. Okay. And nothing against my uplines, because they basically didn't have any training. We just kind of did our thing, right? They kind of flew. So we all joined. I think my upline joined in either March or May. And then I joined that New Year's Eve. So she had about 8 months or so on me, but she's been emerald, now she's diamond, but you know, she did a lot faster than I did. So about 2 years in, I went senior Ruby, and then I stayed at senior Ruby for 4 years. And but I didn't always have senior Ruby points. And I'm telling you my struggles, because I think if you're anything like me, you see Jules and you see the fast stories and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, what's the magic pill that they swallowed? What did they do? How did they do it so fast? I suck. Like, what's wrong with me? Like all these things, and you don't hear the struggles. So I will tell you, so I got to senior Ruby, and I had never slid back in points all the way up to senior Ruby. And then senior Ruby's when I experienced the valleys of, and when I say never slid back in points, nothing dramatic, like maybe 10, 20 points, maybe, but then the next month a little bit higher, you know, but it was pretty constant, you know, steady incline, incline, incline until senior Ruby. And then at one point as a senior Ruby, I slid all the way back to senior gold points. So I was like, I'm going backwards. What is going on? And all that to say is that that is literally the nature of the beast. We don't hear about those struggles, but it happens. The key is just don't quit. If you quit, you're definitely not going to get to where you want to be, right? Like, it's just kind of like if you never ask somebody for, you know, to buy or to try or whatever, the answer is always going to be no, right? Like, you're never going to get a yes if you never ask. So same thing with working the business. If you quit, you're definitely not going to get where you want to be. So keep on keeping on. And now that I am a jewel, and Raina can attest to this, we're like in this diamond sprint chat, whatever. And y'all, there a lot of jewels struggle. It's just that the nature of the beast. But the thing is these jewels aren't quitting, right? You don't hear that, but I think struggles honestly are more inspiring than just seeing the people that like fly through the ranks and then they're like double diamonds and you're still on the struggle bus, right? I think the ones that share their struggles are a little bit more inspiring. So my main point of tonight is I want to encourage you to grow as you go, and don't just like get stuck in, I need to know all the things before I can share, or before I can be a leader, or before I can do this or that. Okay. You're going to grow as you do the things. That means actions as you go. You're going to grow as you go. And that's the only way you're going to take your business to the next level. Because if you stay stuck, I think sometimes people either, and I don't know what any of y'all's ranks are at all, except for Raina and Kendall. But I think sometimes we either get stuck in management mode and we get frozen there and we're not doing our own action, or we're frozen in the wait, right? We're waiting for our next runner or next rock star, or we're waiting to learn more, or we're waiting to, you know, have the customers reach out to us because we posted this magic post. Okay. We're frozen in the wait. And so my encouragement is to all of us is to just keep growing and not to get overwhelmed, because there is so much to learn in this business. I guarantee you look at double diamonds, they're still learning, right? There's still things to, and some of the jewels that I look up to the most are the ones that you can tell they are still in the trenches learning. Like, there's always something to learn about this business. And so not to get overwhelmed though, just take one step different than where you are now, and then take the next step and the next step, right? Babies don't just like get up and run, right? They have to learn. They do the little, you know, army crawl, they crawl, they stand up, they fall down, they take one step, they fall down. Okay. But they continue to try, and they get up, and they continue to try, and they get up, and they continue to try until finally they put one foot in front of the other, and then they're off and running. And so that's kind of like our journey with Plexus too. So there is no magic secret. There's just doing the things. So if you find that you are, I tell my team this all the time, the magic happens beyond your comfort zone. So what is the challenge that you have? That is the area that I would work on growing first. Okay. And there's also a difference between growing in your strengths and weaknesses and growing in the area that you're just like afraid of or that stops you in your tracks. Okay. Because I think I heard this from Brittany Howard. She's like, she's a firm believer that at your best, your weakness is probably only going to be mediocre. Like, don't waste time spending all this time on trying to grow your weakness to be great, because it's probably never going to be great. Your weakness is probably always just going to be to mediocre. So focus on your strengths and run with that, because that is what can be great and that is what can be exceptional. So that's a little bit different than just like, there's something that, let's say you're too scared to do a live. Okay. Like that, your upline tells you you're supposed to do a live and you're like, yikes, that scares the poop out of me. I'm going to challenge you to do that live, because I promise you that's where the magic's going to happen. Okay. That doesn't mean you have to be the best liver ever. Okay. But do it, and speak from your heart and learn from that experience. And people are going to see that and see that vulnerability, and they're going to be attracted to that, because now you're real and you're not, hiding behind your perfect post that you spent 2 days working on, right? You just jump on and you're live and you're real and you're raw. So, where can I go with this? Okay. So what do you do? What do I do? What do others do? That depends on you and where you are in your journey. We hear IPA all the time, income producing activity, impact producing activity, however you want to say it. We hear IPA a lot. Corporate even trains on this now. If you are a gold and above, when you get to gold school, they will teach you the winning day. And that's an IPA thing. And they really want it for golds and above. If you're not gold, it doesn't mean you can't do the winning day. We just basically don't want you to be overwhelmed, okay? Because there's so many other things that you can do that are IPA income producing activities. So whatever your upline is challenging you to do, stick with that. If you don't have anybody challenging you to do IPA, you can find something to do. 531 is a great place to start. If you basically are like, okay, I'm frozen in the weight, I'm not doing anything, I didn't do anything to advance my business today, then do 531, 5 follow-up or 5 new contacts, 3 follow-ups, and 1 training. I'm big on training. I think you can get stuck in training sometimes if you're not also taking action. So that's kind of a little caveat I want to warn you about. Like, you can't just do self-development and training all day long and don't take any action. They have to, you have to do it jointly. You have to take action, but you also have to constantly be training. So if you're not seeing growth in your business and you can't look back 6 months from today, you look back 6 months. If you haven't grown at all in those 6 months or a year ago, if you haven't grown, you're either not working hard enough or you're not learning enough, or maybe a little bit of both. So I encourage you to think about your IPAs and then also train. So 531 is a great balance because you're reaching out to 5 new people. Okay. 5 new contacts, whether that's expanding your network, adding friends, or reaching out to somebody you haven't talked to before or something like that. 3 follow-ups, that's people that are currently in your circle. That could be customers, that could be ambassadors underneath you, a prospect that's asked for information, but they haven't bought yet. Maybe you sent some samples, now you're following up. Maybe somebody just started the reset, you're following up. Okay, any kind of follow-up, and then 1 training. That could be corporate. Corporate offers are so much now. I mean, back in the day, I just had to go search on YouTube. But now, I mean, we have motivational Mondays, we got welcome Wednesdays, we got other things in between. We have, tons of stuff that we can find. So there's no excuse not to have it at least 1 training a day. And it doesn't have to be long. There's some days my training is like a 10-minute video that I found. It does not have to be 30 minutes, hour, or anything like that. Okay, let's see. Adding value too is super important. Something that I do. Kendall mentioned, she added 11 people. I'm not one that I don't really cold message, meaning I never message people that I don't know. I might message them about Plexus and we've never talked about Plexus before, but I know them and I have a relationship with them. But I'm constantly trying to find ways to add value. So if you were to go look on my wall, well, first of all, if we're not Facebook friends, I keep a lot of like my family stuff, just friends. I have 3 girls and I don't make usually those posts public, just out of safety concerns. But I also have maxed my 5,000 friends list. So I have a lot of people that can still see my private posts. And I have nowhere near 5,000, customers or VIPs or ambassadors or anything. So I still have a lot of room within those 5,000 friends. And I did that early on. It was kind of like my goal is to reach that 5K limit. So I was constantly looking for people to add as friends. And I did that really early on, probably year 2. I started thinking I need to expand my network. And I didn't friend request strangers, but I was constantly, let's say, so my upline, for instance, we went to high school together. She was a couple of years above me. But I have still a lot of connections with my high school friends. So we don't like hang out or anything, but we're Facebook friends. So if I go to comment on one of their posts, I always scan the other comments to see who had made a comment that either I haven't seen in my newsfeed for a while, but I know we're Facebook friends, because then I'm going to click on their name. So it takes me to their profile. And if they've had a recent post, I'm going to comment on that so that now they're thrown in my newsfeed, because we're friends from high school. Like I want to see what's going on in their life and they can see what's going on in my life. And then hopefully they'll start seeing my Plexus posts and, that'll be interested. They'll be interested in that. But it also helps me because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to randomly, John, I don't know that I'm friends with John on Facebook. So I'll click on his name, takes me to his profile. Nope, we're not friends. So friend request. And that's what I did. Or I use those suggestions that Facebook makes now. I'll look at those. Like we have 34 mutual friends. I'll use that as a way to add Facebook friends. And so I'm at a point now where I have to like delete people before I can add people. But it's a good problem to have because you constantly want to be expanding your network. So adding value attracts people to your feed. Look for ways to add value. I'm always telling my team, like doing something where you can educate somebody on something. Maybe you're really into yoga. Do some kind of post about yoga. Maybe you really like to cook. Share your recipes. Do a live and show yourself making. I have a girl on my team and she gets on there and on Sundays and she does stuff where she's propped up her camera somehow, her phone somehow, and she's showing them how she makes such and such dish. Okay. You can find ways. Maybe you're into gardening, educate people on gardening. Okay. I don't have a green thumb at all. So I would definitely pay attention. So find a way to add value and for a reason for people to follow you. I've kind of used my little people in this house as ways to add value because they love to be on camera. And so they will jump on and do a live and people love watching them. So, so people are attracted to my page because my youngest 2 they think they just are viral social media icons and they're not. They're just to my 5,000 Facebook friends because I don't allow them to have their own account. But they love doing it. In fact, they'll practice. Today, my youngest had her phone. They don't have a phone, but they have our old phones that they can use. And she's doing a video and it's on selfie. And she's like, hi guys. And she's talking to herself and yeah, I'm going to do my hair and makeup now. And actually first I got to take a shower. And I just hear her doing this. And it's totally, nobody's seeing it, but they like doing it. So then when they jump on my Facebook account, they've had some practice. So people love seeing that. So if you have little people that like to, show off, let them show off and that will attract people to your page. Anything to add value. It does not have to be rocket science. Maybe you're a fabulous packer. Okay. You know how to pack. Share that with the world. Whatever it is that's your jam, share it with the world, and they will come, right? Build it and they will come. Let's see what else. Okay, so as a leader, so that's kind of the things that you can do as you're building. Okay, you're growing as you're going. You're learning things. You're just taking one step in front of the other. You're not trying to do it all at once. Wherever your strengths are, run with that. Just look back and think, am I better than I was 6 months ago? Have I learned anything? Have I developed anything? If you have, great. Now try something else and just keep doing that process. Okay. Another aspect in, I guess, adding, it's kind of in the same realm as adding value, but I really think it's loving on people. Okay. I spend a lot of my day loving on people. Some people call it engagement. Some people call it getting social. A lot of times on your IPA thing, that's a part of it, warming up your algorithm, whatever. I like to think of it as I'm just going in and loving on people. I'm building people up. In my comments, when I go to somebody's account, wall, whatever, I don't just like their posts. I make sure I leave a comment, and I make sure I leave a comment with some thought behind it, not just, that's amazing, congratulations, whatever. Okay. I try to think of it like social media sometimes can be very, I don't know what's the good word, but it's sometimes not relational. And it's meant to be social. So I try to think of it as a conversation. Like if this person said to me in front of my face what their post said, what would my response be in person? Would I just give them a thumbs up and walk away? Probably not. Hopefully not. If I'm a good friend, I wouldn't, So let's say they just posted about having a baby. Okay. Instead of congratulations, and you walk away. No, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. She's adorable. How are you feeling, mama? And check on the mama, right? Like, what would you say in person to be a good friend? Say that in your comments. And if you can ask an appropriate question, that's even better, because that creates some camaraderie there. That creates a relation there. And if they respond back to you, your algorithms love that. So you want to add value in your post, but you want to also add value in your commenting and your loving on people. Okay. Don't get stuck there. Don't spend all day doing that. And then whoops, I didn't do anything plexus wise, but it is definitely worth it to spend some time in that relationship building stage and loving on people. So I do a lot of that. What's that saying? People don't care how much you know until they know that you care, or something like that, right? So like, people are not going to want to buy plexus from me if they don't like me. In fact, I hear this all the time. I used to work, the job I had when plexus came into my life, I worked for a chamber of commerce, and I did their events. I was the event planner for the Chamber of Commerce. And I heard our president say this all the time. He was like, people do business with those they know, like, and trust. So you have to have a relationship with people before they're going to buy from you. Not always. I mean, there are people that are just, let's take a storefront for an example. They're going to just walk up off the street and buy something, right? But in our business, a lot of it is going to be buying from people they know, like, and trust. Okay. You can build the likability from that relationship stuff that I was talking about. From being vulnerable on your Facebook post and not just sharing, right? You don't want to just like share post. I'm not saying share from your life. I'm talking about just hit the share button and you're sharing somebody else's content. Okay. You want to make your own posts. You want to be vulnerable. You want to share your life. You want to share what's going on with you. You want to share the good and the bad, mostly good. Okay. Or put a good twist on the bad, right? An overcomer type thing. You don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but that's a way that you can be trusted, is by being vulnerable. And that's how people are going to like you too. And being real, authentic, all of those great things, that's how they're going to like and trust you. And then when the time is right, they're going to reach out. Or when you reach out to them, they're going to have an open ear. because they know you're not trying to sell them on something, because they know, like, and trust you. So they're going to have an open ear and they're going to listen. Doesn't mean I don't ever get ghosted, because I do. That's another thing, sharing your struggle, because even Jules, we get ghosted. We get told no a lot. We just don't let no's stop us in our tracks, and we don't let the ghosts like consume us. In fact, I had, was it yesterday? Raina, I don't even know if I told you this. I think I shared it in the Jules School chat thread. I was like, I had somebody who just ordered their first time in May, a welcome pack. And I followed up immediately to see if they got their products. They never responded. I followed up again, never responded. Then I don't remember if I had third follow-up or not. They ordered more products, or they let their sub run in June. Followed up again, nothing. And then I shared with them about the reset when that came up, nothing. And then I asked them something else last week, and nothing. I mean, ghost. I can see she's reading everything, right? Don't y'all hate that when you can see that they read it and then they don't respond? And nothing. And then I think it was yesterday, and I went to my reports and her name was gone. And I'm like, what? And so I'm typing in her name. No, I type it. I'm like, maybe I misspelled. And I'm like, I know I didn't misspell. I mean, her name's a really, really easy name. It's not anything. Anyway, nope, she's gone. She totally like canceled her account, got a refund or whatever, I guess. I don't know. So I was like, you could at least talk to me, but I'm just telling y'all that happens to us too, right? And she was a friend. I mean, I know where I'm going to see her again. It wasn't like just some random person. So my feelings were a little bit hurt. So Jules, it happens to us too. It does, but I had to let it go. I asked for some suggestions on how to handle that situation. So I handled it and I'm moving on, right? And just find the next person. That's what you have to do. So if you're beyond this stage that I'm talking about, let's say you don't have a problem posting, you doing a live, you're watching the trainings, you're doing the things, you're like, okay, this is all well and good, Heather. I'm doing all of the things. I'm adding people. I just can't get anybody else to add anybody. Like, I'm not duplicating. I'm not building a team. If that is you, just hang in there. Okay. First of all, make sure you're not in management mode. So make sure you are still doing the things, because I'm still doing the things. Many Jules are still doing the things. Okay. I really feel until you're like one of those 3, 4, 5-star diamonds, can you not just like sit back and like rely on residual for a while, right? Like if you look at Celeste Gwynn, she still shares. Now, is she busting her hump like she probably did back in the day? No, but she's still sharing and she's still recruiting. So I think you always still have to be sharing and recruiting, and just don't get stuck in the management mode. And create leaders, but you can't create leaders. In my honest opinion, you cannot create leaders if you're not doing it yourself. Like if I just sat back and wasn't recruiting and I wasn't posting and I wasn't watching training, how am I going to help my people when they come to me and are like, I'm just not getting any bites. I haven't recruited anyone in 3 months or whatever, right? I have nothing to offer them because I haven't been in the trenches doing it myself. You have to be to offer good, solid advice. So make sure you're not stuck in management modes. Make sure you're still doing the things. There's lots of training out there. If you feel like you're doing the things and you're still not getting anywhere, I would ask either your upline or a sideline person, never your downline, but a sideline person that you respect and feel like they are having success, and ask them to audit your wall. By that, I mean, let's ask somebody to look at your wall and give you good, honest feedback. Does it look too plexified? Like, is it all they're seeing is plexus stuff? Is it not enough plexus stuff? Is it too many shares, too many memes, too many things that aren't adding value? Are you not showing enough of your life? Like, people are nosy. They like to see you share your life. Okay. They like that's very, I can't tell you how many people I've heard in person. They say, I don't post a lot on Facebook, but I'm on there all the time looking at other people's stuff. Okay. People like to look at your stuff. I mean, people tell me all the time in person, I keep up with you and your girls on Facebook because I share about our lives all the time. Okay. So people are always watching. Well, if they're seeing that stuff, guess what else they're seeing? My Plexus stuff. And don't be offended, because I don't know very many of us that get a lot of likes or a lot of comments, unless they're from supportive Plexus friends, on our Plexus post. It just doesn't happen. People are scared of network marketers. They're scared if they like it or they comment that you're going to like, whoof, and you're like, you want to buy? I saw you liked my post. You want to buy? And so they just don't do that. Okay. But that doesn't mean that they're not watching it. And I tell my team all the time, especially my newcomers, because they're like, I'm just not getting anything on my Plexus posts. I think I'm being, what's the word? Because I don't even use it. Not ghosted, but whatever they say, where they think that they're something shadowing, or you know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about? You're shaking your
Like
head.
shadow band.
Shadow band. That's the word. Yeah. Like I hear that from my team. I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but they're like, I think I'm being shadow banned because no one's liking or commenting on my post. I'm like, are they liking or commenting the stuff around your Plexus posts? Yeah, I'm getting comment. Okay, then they're seeing it. People just don't do that. People that comment and like my stuff, they're probably 95% Plexus people. Like, you know, that doesn't really count. That's great, but that doesn't count. I don't need them to buy, like they're already buying. They're probably not even on my team. So it doesn't make me any money. So it's okay. As long as you're adding value around it, people are seeing your stuff. Promise they are. I also encourage you not to share your link on your posts, which your uplines have probably already told you this, but just in case you missed the memo, don't share your link on your post, because then why would they talk to you? Why would they ask you about it? They're just going to click on the link. They're going to go to your wall, or not your wall, your account, your your Plexus, whatever, our Plexus site. And they're going to probably see retail, first of all, and that's going to be a sticker shock, and they're going to run for the hills. They're not going to understand VIP. They're not going to get it, right? So just don't do it. I wait really, really long time before I ever share my link with anybody, even in conversation. And that's a hard thing for new people to learn, is they want to like, oh, I got to bite. I got to share my link. They're going to buy. They don't usually buy right away. Okay. I just give them, and we're learning this in our diamond sprint, and it's a new word for me, micro commitments. Okay. We're giving trying to get micro commitments from them. And what that means is you just give them a little bit and then ask them to do a little bit. So you give them a little bit of info, and then maybe a question like, I have a great video that will explain it even better. Do you have time to watch? That's a micro commitment. Sure. So then you share a video with them. Okay. Little short 2-3 minute video. And then your next thing is, so what'd you think? Or did anything resonate with you, as a follow-up? Okay. And I don't do all that at once. I think ahead and think I'm going to need something to follow up with. So I'm not going to vomit all this stuff at once, because then I'm out of tricks. Like I have nothing left to follow up with. So I share the video and I wait for them to say something. And if they don't, then I'm like, did anything resonate with you? Did you have a chance to watch the video? What'd you think? Okay. And then depending on what they say, then I give them a little bit something else, until they are basically like, I am ready to buy. I'm all in. I totally need this. Where do I sign up? I'm not really giving my link. Okay. Like I want a firm commitment from them before we even get to that point. Even if somebody asks me the price, like sometimes that's the first thing out of their mouth. Like they'll inbox me and they'll be like, I'm interested in the reset. How much is it? Very common. I'm interested in whatever. How much is it? I don't answer that question because I want to educate them on what it is they're interested in first. And if you've been on any training with me, you've probably heard me say this before. I compare it to shopping. You see something in the window of the store on a mannequin and you're like, oh my gosh, that is gorgeous. I need that in my life. Okay. And you walk in can't find the price. Maybe the price tag is missing. Maybe it's a bougie store that doesn't even put the prices on their tags. I don't know. You smell it, you feel it, you try it on, you fall in love with it. The salesperson tells you how fabulous you look in it, whatever. Okay. Like you are in love with this and you know you need to have this in your life. And then they tell you what the price is. You're probably more likely going to buy it if you've already felt it, smelt it, seen it on you, been told how fabulous you look, right? You're going to find a way for that money to appear to buy that. If you walk by the window, you see it on the mannequin, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so gorgeous. And then you look down and it's like $500, you're going to keep walking, right? You haven't felt it. You haven't fallen in love. You haven't convinced yourself you need this in your life. People will find the money to pay for what they know that they need in their life. They will. Okay. Otherwise, there wouldn't be brands out there like Louis Vuitton. Okay. Like that is insane amount of money, but people pay it, right? Because they fall in love with it. They think they need it in their life. So you have to add value to what you're presenting to your prospects and convince them that this is going to be the best thing for them. And they need this in their life, and it's going to help them with whatever issue. Okay. We have the solution to people's problems, whether that problem's a health problem, a financial problem, maybe they need community, they need a social circle, they need to be on Zooms like this in their life, whatever. We have the solution to so many of people's problems. They just don't know it yet. So we've got to be like the carrier of the good news, right? We got to spread the good news, and that's our job. And as long as we do that, we're doing our job. Okay. And keep the price. This is what I do. I keep the price to the very end. And then I present it in a way of, I use words like only. It's only $129. And you're going to get this, and you're going to get this, and plus this, and plus this. Okay. I make a very positive experience. So that's that. That's a whole nother training on verbiage. Leadership. If you are doing all the things, you're adding all the people you've, added. And I try to tell my people, you need to be adding 3 people every month. Like honestly, 3 people every month. That should be everybody's goal, is to go silver again every single month. And I can't say every single month in the past 8.5 years I've added 3. Some months have been great months. Like this month I've added 11, and then other months maybe I've only added 1 or 2. I've never, ever in the history of ever have added 0. I've always added at least 1. Most months, majority, probably 85 to 90% of the months I've added 3 or more. Okay. In 8.5 years, every single month. But I'm always filling my funnel, always, always, always. And I'm doing this without cold calling, cold reach outs, like random strangers, whatever. Okay. I don't do that. So if that feels yucky to you, I just want you to know you don't have to do that to be successful. But what I am always doing is creating a constant stream of relationship building, like with new people, not just the people I see in my feed, because sometimes that gets into a vicious cycle. So I have my Franks list. Hopefully you all have like a hot list, Franks list, whatever you want to call it, your list of 60, 100, 20, whatever it is, so that you can purposely go to those people's walls and comment. And then, like I said, when I'm in the comments, then I spider web and I see somebody on there that I'm like, oh, I haven't seen them in my feed in a while. And I'll click on there and I'll go to their wall and I'll comment on their stuff too. Okay. And then I'll add them to my list now. So I'm constantly filling my funnel so that happens. And last month, talking about the highs and lows, okay, transparency moment. Last month, I re-ranked Emerald. So I had fallen below Emerald, and last month I re-ranked. So I really feel like the 11 people that I've added this month has really come from the work that I did last month. So I filled my funnel and I was like in major like relationship building and trying to add and reaching out to people and all that, because I was so close to re-ranking, and I ended up doing it, which was great. But it wasn't so much from all my ads last month. Okay. My team also was adding a ton, and we're just duplicating really well right now. But it was also filling that funnel, and all that work I did in June has paid off in July, and boom, I've added 11. So whenever you are a leader and you do have teams, okay, how do you duplicate real quick? This is kind of what I try to do. And that's the I do, we do, you do method. Okay. Like I said, as Jules leaders, whoever you are, you have to do the work too. You have to do the IPA. You have to be in the trenches doing it. So I'm doing it. Okay. When you have somebody coming in, you show them through your actions how you're doing it. You might even help them do it, right? That's the we do. You might write their first post. You might continue to help them write posts. Okay. You hold their hand for a while and we do it. 3-way chats. Our team has been doing a ton of 3-way chats lately, and their teams are growing, which then obviously helps my overall growth. When they're growing, I'm growing. So we do it together, and then you let them fly, and that's you do. Okay. So now you do it. Now you do it with your team. So you have somebody new that, wants to share. You help them write their first post. You help them with their 3-way chat. Okay. Now they do it. So that's kind of the duplication that we do on our team is the I do, we do, you do, I do it, then we do it together. Now you fly and do it yourself. So bottom line, take the next step, whatever that step is for you. Everybody's journey is different. So whatever that next step is that is your challenge point, your point that maybe, like I said, you don't want to do lives, or you hate to reach out to people, or follow up is a real struggle for you. Maybe the retention on your team isn't so hot. Whatever area that you see really needs work, that's where I would focus first. And then once you've kind of seen some success in that area, then take on the next thing. Same process. Then take on the next thing, just one step in front of the other. But doing nothing or just waiting, being frozen in the wait is not going to grow you. You just have to learn it. Rewind to my very first, when I first joined, right? I didn't have anybody training me. I just did it. I hadn't even tried the products. I didn't have my own testimony, but I just dug in. I learned, I trained myself. I felt competent in my knowledge as I was learning. And that's the beauty of 3-way chats too, is because your upline probably knows a little bit more than you do. And so use them and learn from them so that they can, if your prospect has a question about products, you don't have to know it all. Your upline can know it. Or that's the beauty of social media, in my opinion, is you don't have to respond right away. Like they ask you a question, even if it's a text, like who says you have to like immediately respond? They send you something that you don't know the answer to, go find out and then come back and answer them. I've even, just been transparent, but like, wow, I haven't been asked that question before. Let me go find out and I'll be right back. And then I'll go find something and then I'll come back and give them the information, whether that be a video or whatever. I also think that helps because let's say they join your team now. If you're the know-it-all, they think they have to know it all. But if you were transparent, you're like, I don't even know that. Or you put them in a 3-way and Raina was answering the questions. They're like, okay, Heather didn't even know everything. I don't have to know everything. I'm just going to put them in a 3-way chat, or I'm going to tell them, I don't know, but I'll go find out. And then I'll come back and I'll give them the information. You are modeling for them that you don't have to know everything to work this business, that you can get started and grow as you go. Okay. Just do it scared too. That's my last bit of advice. Do it scared. I don't care what it is that's holding you back. Just do it scared. You're going to be so proud of yourself, first of all. And I promise the magic happens outside your comfort zone, whatever that might be. Raise your leadership lid and just do something that you're like, I know I should be doing that. Look at successful ambassadors. What are they doing that you're like, wow, they're a really good leader? Like they whatever, and whatever that is, you can do it too. Just go do it. Like, who says you have to wait on your upline to give you a leadership position? Right? If you have a team of 3 or more, you are a leader. So jump on a Zoom and do something with your team. You don't have to wait for your upline to say, okay, we're having our weekly Zoom call. Like, just do it. Whatever, right? You see that your team needs an IPA challenge. Maybe you don't have the content, but I promise you, Raina or Kendall do, because we have IPA challenge content in our Joel page everywhere. Okay, so they could give it to you. Just ask, say, like, I think my team would do really well on a 3-day IPA challenge. Is there something like that out there? And they'll give you the content. They'll help you probably with it. Okay. But I also think it's really good for you just to jump in and start doing it. I'm naturally just kind of a self-starter, like self-motivator. So like I jumped into our uplines team page and I just started asking questions and answering.
Oh, I think you accidentally muted yourself. I was like, wait a minute, what happened?
Sorry, I use my hands too much. I would jump in, like somebody would ask a question and I was seeing nobody was answering it for them. And I wasn't on their team. I wasn't their upline. I was nobody. I didn't know the answer either. So I went and found out and came back and go, look, I found this on the website, or I found this on YouTube or whatever. And that helped me because now I learned something, but then I was helping them. I still do that to this day. We'll be in a chat group and it's not my downline asking the question. They ask the question. I may or may not know the answer, but I'm going to go find it because that just helps me too. And then I'll help share. So do that. Be that person that does that.
Hopefully have your call in just a minute. I was like, I don't want to make her late. But I have so many nuggets that I wrote down, and I usually have questions at the end, but like all the questions I wrote, you're like, and she covered that. And then she covered that. So you covered so much, but I mean, really, like I would just second that. I mean, sometimes I feel like having an upline that's active can in some ways be a curse because they do everything for you, right? And so it helps you be comfortable where you're at. And I think one of the things for me is when I started this, although, you know, I do have an upline who is still active in the business, she wasn't really active with me as an upline and supporting me. And so as a Gold Ambassador, even before Gold Ambassador, I'm having to create my own team page. I'm having to do sip and sees. I'm having to do parties in my house. I'm having to do 3-way chats. I'm having to force myself to learn products to be able to answer questions because I just didn't have somebody actively doing that for me. So it shoved me like with a big steel-toed boot out of my comfort zone. Mm-hmm. But gosh, all the things that have come from that. And when you have somebody who is holding you up and supporting you, that is amazing too. And it's a blessing, but sometimes it keeps us where we're at because then we don't have that reason for going beyond for our own team. And we all are the CEOs of our own business.
Exactly. That's a great point. Is you are the CEO. So sometimes like my team will ask me, hey, can we do such and such? I'm like, sure, business. Sure. Like, you know, could we offer an incentive? If you want to do that, go for it. You know, like it's your business, create whatever. Like I'll kind of like, I have a chat thread with my worker. I call them my worker bees, with my worker bees, and they'll, maybe like a holiday's coming up or whatever. I'm like, ding, 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 a holiday's coming up. I don't know that corporate's offering anything, but be thinking, how can you like creatively, not necessarily like, you don't even have to like spend money. Sometimes it's in marketing and how you word things that you're giving people something that really corporate already gives us, mm-hmm. right? So like $30 off the membership fee this month. Normally our membership fee is $39.95, right? We're getting it for $9.95 right now. So yeah, it is $30 off. Is that out of your pocket? No, but you're creating a creative way, you know, free bag of Slim, free bag of Active, whatever. Okay. You just kind of got to see what the corporate is already doing and then just kind of reword things where it seems like whatever. Okay. It could even be figuring out the percentage of what retail cost is for a certain combo, and then what you get as a VIP welcome pack and what that percentage is. 60% off this amazing combo this month or whatever the percentage is. Okay. And so it's just a different way of wording it. And it seems like a sale, and it is a sale, but corporate's already offering it. It's just how you present it. It's a 4th of July sale or whatever the next holiday is. And it's the same thing that's been going on, but you're just wording it differently. It's called creative marketing.
Yep. I love it. Well, guys, thank you so much for everyone hopping on here. And Heather, not only did I love all the stuff you said, but watching your blue eyes during this presentation was super fun too. Your eyes are popping in that light. So you should just watch it back. They look great. But I do encourage you guys, watch this back because there's so many nuggets in here, just so many things that we've had to learn the hard way, right? Like you said, every person, no matter what rank you are, you're just the same person. And it's those who continue to seek knowledge. And I fell backwards for 4 years in my business. For 4 years, it was a struggle, but I didn't quit. And I kept pushing forward and kept building relationships and kept linking arms with those that were still linking arms with me and moved forward. And now we're way beyond where I thought I would ever be, right? So it's just a matter of not quitting and digging in. So, well, thank you and good luck on your next call talking again. I hope you keep your voice. But we appreciate you.